Once in office, President-elect Trump has said he'll present his agenda in one big, beautiful bill. For more on what that might look like, we're joined by Republican Congressman Byron Donalds from Florida. Representative Donalds, we thank you so much for your time and joining us tonight. President-elect Trump has said that he wants a single bill approach, but Politico reports that he's now open to two bills. How do you see this playing out ultimately in Congress, given recent differences of opinion within the party?
Look, at this point, I'm agnostic on the number of bills that we're going to deliver. It's really more about the contents of these items. We are going to secure the southern border. We are going to repatriate illegal aliens back to their home country. We're going to extend the Trump tax cuts, the very best tax policy in the history of our country. We're going to become energy dominant on the world stage. And we're also going to take care of some of the fiscal issues in our country. So we're going to take care of all that business, whether it's one bill, two bill, five bills. In a lot of respects, is really inconsequential. It's really about the content and the agenda, and we're going to make sure that his agenda gets done.
The Republican majority in Congress is two members weaker than last term. As recently as last month, we were facing a potential government shutdown because the Republican Congress couldn't agree on a budget. What would you say is different now?
What's different now is that we have a White House and we have a Senate that we can work with to really get some of the core things that the American people have wanted to see done for a long time actually achieved. There's not going to be a disagreement between ideologically or even from a policy perspective between House leadership and Senate leadership. There is complete agreement about what needs to be done with the White House and with both chambers. Now you're just talking about constructing how that stuff gets done and what are the timetables upon which they get achieved. So I think that's why, even though our majority is slightly slimmer, that we are united in the House to make sure that the agenda gets accomplished.
You've drafted legislation to eliminate income tax on tips. Do you see that becoming part of the Trump administration tax policy?
I do. I think this is something that President Trump not only talked about on the campaign trail, he was committed to delivering. One thing that President Trump and J.D. Vance have been committed to the entire time is making sure that the forgotten men and women of this country, people who go out and work hard every single day, they're not rich, they're not upper middle class, but they do everything they can to put food on the table, that they get relief in what's been a very expensive economy for them because of the reckless policies of Joe Biden. And so now that we have an opportunity to turn the page, no tax on tips is a part of delivering the relief that so many hardworking Americans want to finally see occur. So that's why I believe it's going to get done.
Trump has made eliminating the debt ceiling a key part of his agenda. Many fiscal conservatives in the party, as you know, are champions of the cap on borrowing. Do you see any signs of some kind of agreement on this issue?
Yeah, we're going to get to an agreement on that. I'm not too concerned. The biggest thing is, how are we going to deliver that, and what kind of spending adjustments, spending reforms, spending cuts are going to be delivered commiserate with that. I think a suspension of the debt ceiling, I don't really see that happening. But are we going to come to an agreement relatively quickly with the president? I believe that's going to happen.
Switching gears, today, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau stepped down. Now, he's citing internal battles in his governing party. Trump says Trudeau resigned because of the U.S. tariff threat. Which do you think is true?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, obviously, Trudeau, the last couple of years for him have been very rocky in Canada, coupled with the fact that you have an American president now in Donald Trump who takes seriously the ability for American companies and American workers to actually get a fair deal on the world stage. So I think that, back in Canada, he's having to deal with all of those dynamics. And what the future of Canada probably needs are not the ideological viewpoints that a Trudeau brings to that job. So it's probably best to just get out while the getting was good, while new leadership is found in Canada.
How do you think that a lame duck leader in our neighbor to the north will impact the incoming Trump administration's ability to negotiate on key issues like immigration and trade?
Not too much. We're going to be able to get that job done as well, because, look, whether it's Canada or any other country in the world, they have elected leaders, maybe not the prime minister, but there are other elected leaders where you can find pathways to be able to get business conducted. We're going to find that. And the key thing for us is not so much about what's going on with Canada per se, the fact that we have the right leadership in America that's going to make sure that our economy and that our workers and that our corporations all have an opportunity to really excel in the United States. And so that's going to be the number one thing that's going to drive some of those negotiations.
Representative Byron Donalds, we thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Anytime. Thank you.